Well, morning guys. Bit of a disaster this morning. Woke up just on my way to work, and as you can see, major disaster. Let me spin you around. I've lost a lot of water out my pond. Not great this morning, but luckily I have got a float switch which has cut it off. It's dropped some water somewhere and dropped it off. So let me show you in the filter house briefly. Okay, as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but the floor is wet. You can see lots of water in the filter house. So something's gone wrong somewhere. So if you give me a minute, I'll investigate it and get back to you. Hi guys, back again. Just got back home from work. As you seen earlier, I had a bit of a disaster this morning, but found out the problem, sorted it out. The pond's now filled back up. Unfortunately, it was a schoolboy error on my part. So let me spin you around. Give me a second, and I'll show what the problem was. Okay, as you can see, all the water's back up. Do a lovely thing. So into the filter house. Okay, very quickly the temperature. As you can see, the temperature has dropped in the pond. That may be due to me having to put fresh water in, or chlorinated water. Right. As I said, bit of a schoolboy error on my part. I'll show you down here. This splitter, excuse me, there was a slight problem with this lever here. As I said, that goes to my easy pod. This one goes to my backy river. When I clean the filter floss out and then the mesh bag, I do turn it off with this one, as you can see with there. But that was started to get really stiff, and it was getting quite awkward. So it was really difficult to turn. So I was a little bit concerned about putting too much pressure on it and breaking it. So what I did is I turned everything off. I turned all my pumps off, turned my ball valve off, and I took this off to give it a strip down and a good clean. As you can see, these are threaded on, so I just unthreaded them all, took them off, and I actually took this duplicate off here and took that out completely to service that end. All fine, got it working again, great. Put it all back together, switch the pump on, quick check, yep, running great, and carried on with another few other jobs. And to be honest, it was late on the evening and I didn't come back into the filter house. Unfortunately, as I said, a schoolboy error. This one here, when I put it back together, I didn't realise it getting quite late, and I actually didn't realise I had actually forgot to put the O-ring back in. In fact, it was actually on the floor. So as I thought it was in, it must have fell out without me realising. It's quite tight in here, so the O-ring wasn't in, and when I first turned it on I didn't notice any leaks. I just had a quick look, it was fine, but obviously it went through the night and it just got worse and worse, and it was flooding out like Niagara Falls in here when I turned the pump back on to see where it was coming from. The reason the pumps went off, I probably haven't mentioned it before. If you give me a second, I have mentioned it before, is that float switch. That was an absolute godsend. If I hadn't got that float switch on, I would have lost a hell of a lot more water. Luckily I wired it in and into here. What it does, as you can see, my switcher box there, my 5-gang switcher box, this one here is for the pump. As I said, it's gravity fed from the pond to my pump, then it's pumped from there into the easy pod, so there's constant water into the pump, so no matter what happens, that pump's just going to keep going and it'll drain the pond. So it's from here, it's wired from one, which I think the switch is this one here, I think is the pump. From here it goes, as you can see, into this box, which is this back wire, and this wire here then goes to the float switch, and the float switch then comes back and it goes into the main power in here. So as soon as the water level drops, it will automatically, if I come back out and show you, in this little blue box here there's a ball bearing. So as this, you can see, as this actually drops down, the ball bearing makes contact or loses contact inside, which then cuts off the power to the pump, and that main pump, which is that feed there, won't drop any more water. As I said, it was an absolute godsend that I had that. If you haven't got one and you are pump fed, especially if you're pump fed and even partially pump fed, gravity fed like I am, as I said, it's gravity fed to that pump down there. If you have got either of them systems, I highly recommend getting one. They're not expensive, they're about 30 quid, if that. I think I got mine from Screwfix, and as I say, if I hadn't got that pump, that float switch, I'd have lost a lot more water. In the end, it was probably, I don't know, as you see in front of the video, it was probably about 20 to 25, 15 to 20% of the water maybe. So it's definitely had a good filter change, water change this week. And there's Henry, thinks he's getting fed again. So yeah, schoolboy error on my part. So yeah, I won't be doing that again. So just be careful. I highly recommend fitting a float switch to your pond. They really do. They do save you. I could have lost all the water and all my fish, and all, you know, it'd been an absolute disaster. In the end, it wasn't too bad. Just a schoolboy error on my part. So I definitely won't be doing that again. So just a short video to tell you what went wrong. This is a warts and all channel. If something goes wrong, I'll tell you about it. If something goes right, I'm going to tell you. So like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.